Many thanks to Gifty for that international perspective on things. We come back to some more local insight on sport. I'm Gary Al Smith, and as you may have heard or may not, Top Rank, the boxing promotion agency, the global one, is planning the Richard Comey versus Teofimo Lopez for the undercard of the Terence Crawford versus Egidius Cavaluscias on December 14th on ESPN. I got that right. I did get that right. I've been practicing that for a while. And that's on December the 14th at the Madison Square Garden. That's in New York City. Now, that Comey-Lopez fight still hasn't been finalized yet, but it's been worked on. And this bout will be the co-feature fight with this Crawford-Cavaluscias bout being the headliner. So, Teofimo is 22 years, and he will be challenging Ghana's Richard Comey for Comey's IBF lightweight title, which he won recently, you recall. Now, the winner of that fight will be facing the winner of this Saturday's contest between the WBA or WBO champion Vasily Lomachenko, the very highly rated one, and Luke Campbell in a unification fight. If that's too much detail for you, I have just a man to break it all down. Nathaniel Ato is editor for Joy Sport, and he'll give us an idea of what to expect in terms of these two fighters and everything that's got to do with it. Nathaniel, thank you for your time.
Great to be here, Gary.
Right. So, first of all, Lopez and Richard Comey are supposed to be fighting. That's fine, right? And they are supposed to be fighting on an undercard of a major fight. That is all the English I've read. That is what it means.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Now, what are the chances of Richard Comey? And is this, first of all, a good fight from a boxing point of view for him?
As good an opportunity as it is as a risk.
It's a risk.
A very big one at that. Now, you look at the trajectory that Teofimo Lopez has traveled, and you know that he is a lethal puncher. He is your best bet when it comes to trouble as an opponent. He's your best bet when it comes to that tough customer or that person who becomes a pain in your loins throughout the 12 rounds. When you look at his fight style, you'd realize that he's sharp, he's creative, and he has this stunning right, just like the man Emmanuel Navarrete. Sorry, a left, okay? So, I mean, he's trying to size you up and down, and then he stuns you with that left, and then he brings the right in. Very, very creative boxer, you know, and that is the reason, and that is what explains his 14-0 record. Of course, his biggest, achievement to date is the WBC international title, which he won about 3 fights ago. But look, he is seen as a big face or a future face of the division. And of course, he's just traveling his journey very, very gradually. He is a very good opponent. But of course, this agreeing to fight this bout or agreeing to this kind of title defense just goes to lend credence to that long-time saying in boxing that to be the best, you must fight the best. Richard Comey must be given credit as a champion in that he has fought battles that many a world champion would not want to fight. I mean, look at the story of how he traveled towards fighting for the world champion and eventually winning it. I mean, going to Russia, losing under controversial circumstances, and going back to the same, going back to the same terrain, rough terrain, to go and prove yourself again. I mean, this just tells you that this is a champion worth his salt. So let's not take anything away from Richard Comey. All I'm just saying is that it sure is going to be a big risk. And this is when Richard Comey needs to employ all of his focus, all of his alertness, and all of his reflexes over 12 rounds. He needs it going into this big bout. And of course, look at the venue, an iconic venue which has loads and loads of after benefits for any boxer who fights, especially on an undercard such as that one.
So we have established that it's a risk for him. But as a champion, we know that he could have decided to dodge.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Okay, so this is it's very simple, and you've gone into it already. Now, first of all, Teofimo Lopez is a contender. Now, he has been lined up amongst the very few set of contenders you can fight in the lead up to a big bout like that. Remember that all of the people out there at Top Rank are also looking at the commercial aspect of this fight.
Yeah.
So you don't just put the champion against just another boxer. You need to weigh the options and look at some of the big potentials that could possibly take over from Comey. So this kind of a matchup and this kind of negotiation to get a kind of fight between Richard Comey and Teofimo Lopez. I mean, Teofimo Lopez is the kind of boxer who hangs around the fringes and looks for that big opportunity to fight a big name, so he could just take it and run along with it. And that's exactly what is happening here. So a good lineup, there's no doubt about that. And like I said, I mean, once Richard Comey is able to go over this hurdle, it means big bucks and it means big business from hence.
Okay. All right. It means that if he wins, it's all the way up for Richard Comey.
Definitely. I mean,
going all the way
Vasily Lomachenko on any night, fighting him on any night, obviously, I mean, you're not going to earn as much as he is. I mean, you could earn a fifth or a sixth or a quarter of what he's going to earn. But what is important is that you're placed on that platform. You get more eyes around the world. Your pay-per-view appeal goes up. And that means a lot more once you're going into your next fight. And that is what has happened to Andy Ruiz. Now Andy Ruiz, because he's won the fight.
Yeah, he's calling whatever he wants.
And you know what? What happens? I know we're not discussing that fight, but you know what? Give and take. In the next bout, Andy Ruiz should take home a minimum of 20 million. 20 million.
20 million.
Yeah, because he's asking for
10 million. 20 million what?
US dollars, of course.
I was quoting pounds. So 10 million pounds.
Definitely, around
just about
there.
10 million, because that's what I saw on the web as well.
Yeah.
Many thanks, Nathaniel, for that. Tomorrow, we will be, God willing, we'll be looking at another Ghanaian fighter, Isaac Dugbe. Is he taking the right decision by even considering fighting Michael Conlan, the two-time Irish Olympian? We'll be doing that tomorrow. For now, though, you can ponder over analysis over the other Ghanaian, Richard Comey. Is he doing the right thing by fighting Teofimo Lopez? I'm Gary Alsmith, and that's the sport for now.